Chapter 32, Winery Crashers. Ron Skiandri is having the time of his life. An after-hours party is taking place at his parents' winery, and he's playing host. Although he's pushing 40, this is the first time he's been trusted with the keys to the Cabernet Kingdom. It's almost like the house party he threw as a teenager while his parents were on vacation, and he is certainly making the most of it. 100 of his closest friends and their guests are in attendance. They schmooze amongst themselves, waiting for a visit from Skiandri. He's not nicknamed the Mayor for nothing. There is no specific dress code for this festivity. However, Skiandri has elected to go black and blue. A white tuxedo shirt, complete with bow tie, is draped by a black jacket. But he's also wearing ripped blue jeans and cowboy boots. The Mayor knows how to stand out in a crowd. Skiandri weaves his way through the crowd, backslapping the men and air-kissing the ladies. He has his eye on a cute little blonde, leaning against one of the columns beneath the veranda. Her glass is empty, he notices, so he grabs a bottle and a fresh glass from one of the caterers and prepares to introduce himself. "I notice you're empty," Skiandri says. He begins to fill her glass, but she stops him halfway. "That's plenty," she says. "So you're a glasses half full sort of girl?" "Not really. I'm just more of a Chardonnay drinker." Skiandri feigns horror. "Blasphemy! I know, right? This place is noted for its reds, and I'm not much of a red drinker. I'm very hard to please." "Well, now I have a mission. To please you." The girl smiles. "I'm Linda, by the way." Skiandri touches her shoulder. "I'm Ron. Ron Skiandri." "Oh, so this is your winery?" "That's it. It's no Mondavi or Beringer, mind you, but our winemaker makes a very good Cabernet." "But no whites. Pity," Linda says. "I think I can remedy that. Would you care to accompany me to our cellar? I have some outstanding Chardonnays I'd be happy to open." "I think that sounds like a plan." The Mayor grabs her by the hand and weaves their way through the crowd. Trouble is, he's an extremely popular fellow. Everybody wants to shake his hand, joke with him, and take selfies with him. What should have been a 2-minute walk elapses into nearly 45, and it has no end in sight. Linda takes baby sips from her glass and is beginning to look disinterested. He's losing her. Kyrene hears music across a field. She also detects the sounds of people talking. "Bacchus," she says, "we're going this way." Bacchus follows her through the grapevines. Soon, they are standing just on the outskirts of the Skiandri family vineyard. They observe the revelers on the patio. The band plays 80s dance favorites. "I don't think we'll find Apollo here," Bacchus says. "But perhaps we could stay a while." Kyrene frowns. Finding Apollo is her primary, check that, only goal. But she could indulge Bacchus a little fun. She might even have some herself. Amid the preppies and hipsters and co-workers who call themselves Skiandri's friends, Bacchus and Kyrene appear. It doesn't take long for them to be noticed. A man walks in wearing a toga, accompanied by a 4-foot-tall pixie in dress seemingly made of leaves, tends to stop all conversations. A caterer scrambles to find glasses for the newcomers. Bacchus is pleased to be served. Kyrene pouts. "What's the matter, forest nymph?" Bacchus asks. "I was hoping for nectar." "When in Rome, we say, drink what the Romans do," or something like that. He clinks glasses with Kyrene and tastes the wine for the first time. It is amazing, like nothing he's had before. "It's like berries and pepper and cherries. I've never experienced anything like it." Kyrene takes a sip. "Yes, it's pretty good." "Pretty good? I dare say that neither I nor Dionysus has produced anything of this quality. I must find the winemaker. I will bring clippings when we return to the heavenly realms." Kyrene is taking in the music. It's new, it's different, and she likes it. She can't help but dance. She spins, she wiggles. Fun envelops her and won't let go. Frankly, Skiandri hadn't realized that no one is listening to him any longer. Linda grabs him by the arm. "Did you hire entertainment?" Skiandri is shocked by what he sees. He's also a bit disappointed in himself for not thinking of the toga getup. He could pull that look off as well as that guy could. He decides to investigate and makes a beeline towards Bacchus and Kyrene. Linda follows. She has got to know what is going on. As soon as Skiandri arrives, Bacchus greets him. I am Bacchus, the god of wine. This is my friend Kyrene. Skiandri. Ron Skiandri. This causes Linda to laugh. That's very James Bond of you. Bacchus tilts his head in confusion. Who is this James Bond of which you speak? You know, James Bond, spy movies, Sean Connery, Roger Moore, Pierce Brosnan, and, God forbid, Timothy Dalton. Kyrene looks at Skiandri. You're a spy? I am too. Sometimes. You sit in the forest long enough, you hear things. Am I right? Skiandri has no answer for this, so he just nods. The sprightly little girl is clearly off her rocker, but she seems harmless enough. I'm going to dance now, Kyrene announces and dashes off under the disco ball. Is she always like that? Skiandri asks Bacchus. Oh no, she's usually out of control. Skiandri sighs. So, Bacchus, what do you think of my latest vintage? Ah, Bacchus responds. You are the genius who created this sensational wine. It is foreign to me. What do you call it? Cabernet Sauvignon. I would have expected the god of wine to recognize it. Allow me to apologize. You see, I am from a distant time and place. Rome. Perhaps you've heard of it? Skiandri chides his ignorance. Well, yeah, but there are plenty of wineries in Italy that produce Cabernet. As a winemaker myself, Bacchus explains, I mainly grow Armenian and Nomentan. I've dabbled with Appian, and while others seem to like it, I do not care for it much myself. Are those actual varietals, or did you just make them up? Ron, Linda says, be nice to your guest. Skiandri realizes he's losing points with Linda by the second, so he tries a different tact. So tell me about these grapes. What are they like? Well, very often we define our wines by the region rather than the grape. But Armenian is a white grape I've come to love. I grow quite a bit of it. The Dulce has a sweetness that knows no match. However, I prefer the Austerum, the drier version. Both have extremely high alcohol contents, which makes everyone happy. Nomentan is a light red color. Its quality varies greatly season to season, but I like to think that mine is the best. Appian is also white, but not nearly as delectable as the Armenian. It's smartphone time. Skiandri looks up Armenian, and actual results come back. Apparently, there are a few small Italian wineries making this wine. The more you learn about wine, he thinks, the less you find you know. How does this wine sell, he asks. Sell? Why, I give it away. It seems the neighborly thing to do. So you make wine and don't make any money? How can you afford to live that way? Bacchus is confused. Where I come from, we do not need money. I am occasionally given gold, but I don't need to spend it if that's what you're asking. Skiandri is still on the smartphone. His searches on Nomentan and Appian come up empty. Are you growing grapes that appear to be extinct? They are certainly not extinct, Bacchus assures. Their quality is produced for the demigods. They do not touch my Armenian except for rare occasions. Is this like a Phalangina? Skiandri asks. I call it a Falernian. We may well be discussing the same thing. In any event, that's one rare varietal. Nice work. Bacchus isn't sure how to respond. I have vines upon vines of it planted. I wish I had brought some with me. As do I, answered Skiandri. Perhaps next time. The band begins playing something awful, something Skiandri certainly does not approve of. They all turn to the stage, where Kyrene is on stage, dancing to something called the Macarena. Coyote is lost in the city of Napa. He has never been good at driving through this area, but then he rarely has occasion to visit. He finds himself on Coombsville Road, accidentally turns right on 4th Avenue, and then, out of desperation, turns on Cruise Canyon Road. This turns out to be a dead end. He turns around but notices someone wearing a toga. Coyote feels it necessary to investigate. Who knows? It could be Apollo. Amid the Mercedes and the Beamers and Teslas, Coyote squeezes the rusted pickup into a tight parallel park. He is out of place, but has no idea how out of place he is about to be. First, he's refused at the door. He's not dressed properly, he is told, and he's not on the guest list. So, Coyote does what he does best. He sneaks in. He draws a crowd of onlookers. In fact, only the oblivious Kyrene seems to miss him. But he makes a beeline towards Bacchus, the one in the toga. Skiandri intercepts him. I think I've reached my fill of uninvited guests. Is one more going to kill you? Linda asks. Skiandri looks over Coyote. Dunno. This one might. Coyote ignores Skiandri and instead focuses on Bacchus. Tell me something I want to know. Tell me you know where Apollo is. You're searching for Apollo? Bacchus replies. So am I. Exactly who are you? I'm Bacchus. I'm Apollo's best friend. Coyote takes a long breath. Tell me you're not a god. I am, Bacchus replies. The god of wine. Fantastic, Coyote says sarcastically. He did mental math. The hooded man warned him of the consequences of gods dying on Earth. Pluto had been a huge mistake, he recalled. He would need to protect Bacchus and hunt down Apollo simultaneously. His reward should be upped substantially. Protecting one more god should be no issue. Skiandri is again angered at the band. Who told them they could play a steel drum? Jimmy Buffett's volcano started a conga line with Kyrene wiggling at its front. She is having so much fun. It seems she has forgotten about Apollo entirely. Bacchus cannot help but laugh. Coyote follows his eyes to the front of the line. Tell me she's not with you as well. Oh, Kyrene? Bacchus replies. She only has eyes for Apollo. Coyote smiles. This he can use. Why don't the two of you come with me? We'll find Apollo together. Do you know where he is? Bacchus asks. No, but I know someone who might. Once Kyrene begins dancing, it is a Herculean effort to get her to stop. It isn't easy, but they essentially abduct Kyrene while she performs the electric slide. Linda is sorry to see them go. Skiandri, not so much. The trio provided an unnecessary distraction from his goal of bedding Linda. Be gone with them. Coyote leads Bacchus and Kyrene through the parking lot. Bacchus is amazed at the array of chariots available to mortals. He touches the metallic surfaces as he passes. They are new to him. This new material is so smooth, yet so hard. He cannot help but be disappointed when he sees Coyote's truck. Why do we not take one of these other carriages? Bacchus asks. Coyote is perturbed by the question. Because this one is mine. Bacchus shrugs. Okay. Coyote opens the passenger door. It's only a two-seater. One of you needs to ride in the bed. Bacchus looks behind the seats. That doesn't look particularly comfortable. It isn't. How about I ride in your lap? Kyrene asks Bacchus. This sounds much better to Bacchus. That okay with you, Coyote? Frankly, I couldn't care less. Bacchus climbs into the truck's cab. Kyrene plops herself on his thighs. Bacchus gets immediately hard beneath his toga. Kyrene turns around and glares at him. It's completely out of my control, Bacchus admits. I'd prefer not to find Apollo with your penis poking outside your toga. There are always steps you could take to force it to subside. Kyrene glares again. This suits Coyote just fine. He'd prefer not to drive with a hand job going on next to him. So, he focuses on getting the rusty red Ford to turn over. Once, twice, third time's a charm. He pulls out of the parking place, and the three are on their way to the city. Kyrene is excited. How are we going to find him? We're going to track down the one mortal I've seen with him. His name is Jackson Tate. He will be most helpful, whether he wants to or not.